All right. We are going to wait a second, make sure everybody can hear me okay. When you can hear me okay, just let me know, and we will get things rocking and rolling. Just let me know, guys, when you can hear me. All right, let's see. Hear you? Okay, cool. All right, well, welcome, welcome. I hope everybody's doing great. I hope you had a good weekend. We're at the last of our good weekend here. We have it's supposed to be 84 tomorrow, and then our weather goes right down the toilet from there. We're going to be in the 60s for highs and then 40s for lows. So weather's going to be definitely changing big time. But anyway, I do want to remind everybody if we have any interruptions with the stream, any problems, I will get right back on as soon as I possibly can. Just be patient. You may not get a notification. You just have to go back to the channel and look and go from there. Okay, so just putting that out there ahead of time so we know. Okay. Also, I want to remind everybody that this is a very family-friendly oriented channel. Please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you decide you want to be a jerk, those awesome people that you see lit up in blue will boot you out of here. All right, so just not even bother doing it. It's not worth the waste of energy. Okay, so we are going to be talking about who should you help after S.H.T.F. And it's kind of interesting question because we're going to talk about what is the definition of S.H.T.F. to start with, okay, and how we already do help people after S.H.T.F. already, okay, because again, S.H.T.F. doesn't necessarily have to mean the end of the world as we know it, right? So I'm going to give you some great examples of people helping people out after an S.H.T.F. event, all right? Everybody knows somebody locally, like either in their church or some organization that you're involved with, even like the motorcycle runs, okay? Somebody gets cancer, or somebody has a death in the family, or somebody gets hurt. And so what happens is the community rallies around that person or that family and tries to help, okay? That's one example of helping people after an S.H.T.F. event. Now, we're obviously going to talk about a major S.H.T.F. event, but I'm just giving some examples, so just kind of like lay the groundwork, all right? We also have like when the hurricanes happen and you have, like down in Louisiana, and the people go in there with their own gas, their own boats, and they help rescue people. That's another example of people, everyday people, with nothing to gain from it, helping other people during an S.H.T.F. event. It may not be affecting them directly, but it affects people in their community, and they step up and they help, okay? Happens all the time, guys. Happens all the time. Unfortunately, in our society, what do we hear most of the time? We hear nothing but the negative because the negative sells. People thrive on the negative news. They don't, they absolutely can't get enough, okay? But the reality is, a lot of times already in our society today, a lot of people step up, be it quietly, be it through rallies, be it through any way, whatever, and really help. And I think it makes a huge, huge difference in our society today that people are willing to do that now. And so that's my tie-in to, let's say it is a major S.H.T.F. event. Who do you help? Now, people watching this stream, obviously, for the most part, I would imagine you guys are fellow preppers, fellow off-gridders. You are prepared. You are ready. Follower of Jay said, the people of Pensacola, I just wanted to read this comment real quick, guys. He said, the people of Pensacola are still really struggling and FEMA isn't helping them. Please pray for these folks. And it's thank you for saying that too. And that happens a lot. The event goes away. People don't think about it. Did you hear that it went to war today in Russia and Turkey are to follow? I did see that. I don't know if there was a scrimmage. I heard about that scrimmage, but we'll have to pay attention, obviously, to see where that leads. Hopefully, cooler heads prevail. It's not the first time that it's happened recently where there's been some scrimmage between those two countries. So, yeah, that's not a good thing. But anyway, so let's talk about the major S.H.T.F. event happens, all right? who do we help? Who do we decide to help? Now, I want you to think about this, and I'm going to give you some ideas, and this was kind of my thought process on this situation. Are we going to be able to help everybody? Absolutely not. You cannot risk your family, your group, because of people that were unprepared. Okay, you can't. Depending how long this event would last, obviously is going to depend on the amount of help people are going to be willing to give. I think that you're going to see early in an event, you're going to see people trying to really help each other. I really think that's what you're going to see early in an event, because that's kind of like, and I'm going to speak for America. I can't speak for other countries, but I'm sure the Canadians, I know I have a lot of Canadians that watch, and there's kind of that same mentality because we're, North America and stuff like that. They'll jump in and try to help people, okay? But once I think people realize that this is not a normal event, that this is like, oh my God, things are going to change forever and they're never going to go back to normal type of event, I think you're going to see people really limit who they help, okay? That doesn't make it right or wrong. I'm not going to make a judgment call on anybody with whatever decisions you try to make. The important thing is, if you are a prepper, if you are an off-gridder, and you have done any kind of planning, you have to take an inventory of what you have at that point, try to figure out how long it's going to last you, all right? Figure out how many people, because you got to realize this. Now, I, being a prepper, my family's going to show up, okay? Hey, Asif, your topic was exactly what I was thinking about earlier today on the way home from the beach. Oh, that's very cool. That's awesome. Thank you very much for the donation, and thank you for that statement. So it's a good thing we're having this topic then. Your family's going to show up. Now, obviously, Mom and my sister now live here as well, but I know that my niece and, her 3 children and her boyfriend and his mother. So right there is 6 people right there that will show up here. I guarantee that they will show up here. I do plan on helping them, okay? Because that's family. You don't have to, but I love them and I will help them, okay? That's just the reality of that. Again, now you have to decide. Now, there obviously has to be rules. If you're letting people in, it doesn't mean that they come in and they sit on their behinds and they don't do anything. That's not how that situation is going to work. My thought process is everybody has to work together. And if you don't work, you don't eat, period. If you're going to sit around and lay on your behind, then you don't eat. Everybody, I don't care, like my mom is 77, to the younger ones, my great nephews are, what are they now? 5 and 9, I think. The youngest ones are, okay? Everybody can do something. So, yeah, you're not going to work a 5 and a 9-year-old for an 8-hour day and all that type of stuff. And you're not working somebody 77 an 8-hour day. But there's things that they can do to be productive members of the group. There's a lot of different things that are going to need to be done in a post-event. So now, okay, so let's go beyond family a little bit. Who are you going to help beyond family? Now, I have neighbors up here. I have relationships with my neighbors, I'm on good terms with everybody up here. I don't fight with anybody. I don't dislike anybody. So, no 223 rounds to be found. Titus 1 just said that. I know that's getting very scarce, very, very scarce. People are having a really hard time getting that. Guys, let's see, what are we up to? 729 in the chat already, and we're at 214 on the thumbs up. I would ask you to shoot a thumbs up to show support for the channel. And if you would do that, I thank you very much ahead of time. Also, it really does help with the algorithms. So the more interaction we have, the better it is for the channel. So thank you for that as well. Also, I'd like to see a lot of thumbs up. So, I like to see that as well. But again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. Okay, so beyond family, and then you have your neighbors, like I said. So who of your neighbors do you decide to help or not help? And how much help do you give them? Again, that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. What do they bring? And this sounds terrible, okay? It sounds absolutely terrible. What do they bring into the table? What skill sets do they have? Because you got to remember, It's going to take a village to survive. It really is. And if you have neighbors that you can work with, now, like I said, out here, we're not right on top of each other in the country, so that's a good thing. But if you can forge relationships with them, now basically, so here's a good example. I'm going to give you a great example of this, all right? So I have my neighbors right next door to me, and then Richard is in the house. Him and his wife are in the house past that. If I forge good relationships, which I have with them, and everything goes belly up, and we decide, okay, we're going to work together. Now, pretty much out here, a lot of people have a lot of stuff. They don't necessarily call themselves preppers, but they're prepared to a degree, okay? So if we work something out, now I have, going this way, I have a buffer of 2 houses that anybody's coming to cause problems has to go through those 2 houses first before they get to my house. So you see where you're making those layers. So again, realistically, it is in your best interest to work with those neighbors if you can, okay? Now, obviously, you are not going to just start handing them food. You can't do that. You know, whatever food you have, for the most part, you really need to lock it down, figure out how much of an inventory, how long it's going to last for how many people. That's probably step 1. And from day 1, you ration from day 1. Have to. There's no other option, because depending, again, what time of year it is. This time of year, it's fall. So, like, the farmers are out there all harvesting the corn, the soy, whatever else is out there, the beans, whatever's out there, they're out harvesting now. The apples are all coming in, okay? All those things like that. So those things all need to be harvested this time of year. But a major event happens, a lot of that stuff's going to be sitting out in those fields, okay? That's not going to get harvested because of a myriad of reasons. What you're going to need to do as a group or whoever you're working with, parties got to go out and collect that type of stuff. You get as much as you can, because especially up here in the north, we have long, cold winters, all right? There's not going to be any gathering when the winter comes. Game is going to be really, really short. You're not going to get that meat that you would normally have, okay? So those things have to be taken into consideration. What animals you have, how are you going to fare getting them through the winter, and how many? I mean, like, another good example is we have a dairy farm, probably a little over a mile away from where I live. There's no way they can continue to go the way they've gone at this point with that dairy farm. So they're going to have to kill a bunch of their cattle, a bunch of it. They would have to try to keep some of it alive so that they could, replenish things later on. But the reality is, they're going to have to make hard decisions, what to butcher, what not to butcher. Of course, then you can use that meat or whatever for barter or what else too. Because again, the farmers, they have a lot of stuff, but maybe they have a lot of this, that, or the other thing that they're working on, but they don't think about the other things. I mean, it's a long thing. But anyway, let me get beyond that now. So beyond your neighbors, beyond your immediate family, now you're going to have down the road, you're going to have people showing up looking for help, okay? Now, again, you're going to have to make a case-by-case decision at that point. Who do I help? Who do I not help? And so obviously, I don't know if you guys have read the book 1 Second After. What they did in that town, and I thought this was a really good example of what you do. They had people that wanted to travel through, and obviously people that wanted to stay and be part of their group. So they interviewed everybody as they came through. What skills do you have? What, and stuff like that. So if somebody had, was a doctor, or somebody was a dentist, or somebody was an engineer, something that could be used to help their town, they brought them in. Okay. Everybody else had to go through and go on their way. It's a great book. It is an absolutely fantastic book. And it gives you, here's the best part about 1 Second After. And if you haven't read it yet, guys, I absolutely encourage you to do so. It makes you think. That's the reality of it. It makes you think. And it's a really good, guide if you want to look at it long term. How are things going to be? What's going to happen? So anyway, in that type of a situation, basically my thought process is this. If you have somebody coming in and they want, help us, feed us, whatever, then I want something too. There's things that still have to be done. There's lots of physical labor that have to be done. So, you say, okay, well, listen, if you work and you here, we'll give you lunch, and if you continue to work, and we'll give you dinner. Maybe you let them sleep someplace, maybe not right in your vicinity, but maybe there's an abandoned building someplace where they could stay there or whatever. Those are things, again, that's going to be a case by case basis. I really encourage people. This is something that I always do. I listen to my gut. And if my gut tells me there's something shady, something's not right, I listen to that. I've done it my whole life, and I can tell you right now, my gut has never been wrong. Never been wrong. If I got a feeling something's up or something is underhanded, then something's up and something's underhanded. But guys, if you have questions, all cap locks, please. But I believe it's important to try to help people. That's just my philosophy. Again, I realize I can't help everybody. I mean, I can't have a line of 100 people looking for free food. We wouldn't have anything left in a very short period of time. So again, you're going to have to pick and choose who you help, who you don't help, and where you're going to go from that. Okay. You'll be taken advantage of. Oh yeah, a lot of people, my gut says stock Reese's peanut butter cups. Listen to that, Bridget. That is a very smart gut that you have. Reese's peanut butter cups are awesome. So, but anyway, again, you have to really be hyper vigilant. Like I said, things still have to be done. Wood's going to have to be gathered. You're going to have a lot more wood than you would now, because of the fact that you're going to be using it for everything, for cooking, cleaning, heating up hot water, whatever the case may be, washing up. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, I've taken plenty of cold showers in my life. They're not a whole lot of fun. So if you can heat up that water and make it more pleasant, it's a lot nicer to do that. Okay. So, Reese's are my favorite, and that Boyle says, they're up there on my list is very, very long of my favorites. So, but Reese's peanut butter cups are right up there on that list. But so anyway, again, you're going to have to do a lot of evaluation. You're going to have to do a lot of soul searching. You're going to have to tell people no. You're going to have to. And it's going to suck. I'll be honest with you. I mean, that is just, unfortunately, that is the reality of if it is a major worst case scenario event, because here's what you have to think about. And I want you guys this is, again, I want to make you think, okay? So if you say, okay, well, I'm going to give these people some food. So you feed them for a day, maybe 2 days. What happens then? They're coming back because you helped them out already, okay? Now you're hurting your own group and your own tribe, okay? You can't. If there's no chance for them and there's nothing you can do to help them, you have to send them on their way. It's a horrible, horrible thing. Not pleasant by any stretch of the imagination, but it has to be done. You can only help so many people. And if you have, let's say you got 15 people, 20 people in your group, okay? Again, you're going to have people that are going to get sick. You're going to have people that are going to die. That's the reality of it. People are going to, accidents are going to happen. All kinds of things are going to happen. So you have to be ready for those things. And that's not easy. I mean, it's, here's the thing. As a nurse, I have seen so much. I've seen so much death already that for me, death is not a big deal. I don't want to belittle that, but it's just, I'm used to it. Anybody that's worked in the healthcare field for any length of time, you really become desensitized to it. But the average person is not. They're not used to it. They're not like, oh, okay, there's another dead body. Okay. So it's going to be a huge, huge shock to the system for most people. And it's going to be very, very difficult to deal with. I guarantee you an EMP attack will be, World War III begins and Yellowstone erupts. You will have defensive mentality as opposed to helping mentality. You know what, JJ? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I don't care who you are in that situation. That type of stuff happens. It's pretty much every man for themselves. But again, and I will say this again, and I've said this many, many times, whatever happens, we cannot survive this alone. You have to have surrounding yourself with good people, with people that have the same mindset, wanting to survive and willing, there's a key, willing to work together. That's the key. So 30 years of an emergency service, I've seen many ways to die. 80K man just said that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All of Florida is now open, no mask needed now since Friday. You know what? I did hear that they took all the restrictions away. I did see that. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, to be honest with you. It's hard to say, guys. In your opinion, what's the next thing to run out of on the shelves in stores? It really, what it comes down to, guys, realistically, is wants and needs. Now, if you can afford to do it, have some kind of a backup generator, have some kind of gas supply as well. I think that's really, really important, okay? Because you're going to have things that you need to do, that you're going to need power tools for, that you're going to need stuff to, be able to cut stuff up with circular saw or whatever the case may be. So if you can have some kind of power, I think that's a good thing. Generators, you look at any kind of an emergency. Any emergency happens, like in Florida, a hurricane's coming, what's one of the things that gets sold out immediately? And that's generators. Any kind of power production. Now, if you can have some kind of a backup solar stuff, that's great, to charge up your cell phones, your laptops, and that type of stuff. That's a good thing. They have the cases that you can get that you can charge them up that way. Those are good things to have as well. But if you really need power to do something, here's another thing that you might want to think about, having a chainsaw, okay? A lot of people don't think about that, but there's a lot of uses that you can use a chainsaw for, especially in a major disaster afterwards. Because what I want people to realize is this. Let's say an S.H.T.F event happens, bam, tomorrow. The world has changed now forever, and it's never going to be the same. Well, guess what? There's still going to be fires in California every year. There's still going to be flooding every year. There's still going to be hurricanes every year. There's still going to be, tornadoes every year. There's still going to be snowstorms every year. There's still going to be ice storms every year. There's going to be flash floods that come through. There will be a storm that comes in. But now here's the other part. There's not going to be anybody there to clean it up. Okay? So your group or whoever you're with, you're going to have that added responsibility. And I don't think people think about that. They think, oh, S.H.T.F will happen and then things will get, back to normal. It may not. And it may be years. But guess what? Those other natural disasters that happen every single year are still going to happen. So you need to think about that situation as well. Am I ready to do cleanup? And if you don't have that chainsaw and you can't cut those trees down that have gone across the road or whatever the case may be, what are you doing then? Would you use a handsaw? I mean, you're talking very, very labor intensive in that type of situation. Strong winds are still going to happen. You look at all the windstorms that we have. We have a lot up here in New York too. Trees go down over roads, crush cars, all those type of things. So, and the other issue is that most people won't know a hurricane or anything bad weather is even coming in that area. That is a great point as well. No more Weather Channel to say, oh my God, this or that's happening. You're going to have to be paying attention to stuff. If you're planning on traveling in a post event, you're going to, how do you know? Like today, okay, so here's a great example. Today here, beautiful day, very sunny, a little windy, but very, very beautiful day. By tomorrow afternoon, our temperatures are going to start going down. The weather's going to change. We're supposed to get rain. And then the next day, we're supposed to have basically rain all day on Tuesday. And it's going to be high in the 60s. How would I know that if I didn't have, the Weather Channel or, the app showing me what the weather extended forecast? And they're not always 100% accurate. But if I'm thinking, we got plenty of time to do stuff because the weather's nice, you won't know. You absolutely won't know. And then here's the other thing I want you to think about too, guys. In a post-event, women are still going to have babies. There's still going to be complications with those pregnancies, okay? But now the availability of doctors and those type of things is not going to be there. People are still going to get sick. People are still going to have appendicitis. They're still going to, have mechanical injuries. People are going to break bones. Are you ready for those type of situations? And who survives in those situations? An appendicitis in a post-event, which is really nothing now, that could kill you if your appendix bursts in a post-event. So again, you're going to be looking at a lot higher mortality rate. Life-saving drugs are not going to be there for the people that are compromised. So those are things that you really need to think about, again, ahead of time. How do you plan for the people in your family that have issues? Somebody's a diabetic, and they're an insulin-dependent diabetic. The reality is they're probably not going to last very long in a post-event. I don't care how healthy they are. If they can't get that life-saving insulin, they're probably not going to last very long. And that sucks. But that's the reality, Your health is the number one priority now and in S.H.T.F. Yep, follower Jay just said that. You're 100% right. And that, like I said, a lot of people don't think about those type of things, okay? We can always break out the CB and maybe communicate that way. Yeah, you can get, CB, ham radios, you can still communicate that way. But again, what is the availability of people willing to come and help you? That's what you got to think about. We're going to need to rely on ourselves. Again, that's why I'm a big believer in having a group, having your little village and your community. The more numbers you have, there's always going to be safety in numbers. Number one, that's the number one thing. There's always going to be that safety in numbers, okay? There are going to be people out there that, oh, wow, no more rule of law. Wonderful, okay? That's their mindset. And they're going to go and they're going to do whatever they want to do, because who's going to stop them? The average citizen. That's it, okay? So, again, those are things you're going to have to be ready to deal with as well. Are you ready to use deadly force to stop predators, to stop, people willing to come in there and just take whatever they want to take? Wild West again. Yeah, it could be. Could be. The Bofang is great. Turn, learn, and budget. Yep, exactly. Bofang is a cheap alternative as far as a ham radio goes. Again, that's just how that goes. I mean, you have to really. There's so much planning. It can be very overwhelming. It can be very frustrating at the same time, and you think, oh my God, and this is what a lot of people will do. I'm not going to think about it, so I'm not going to worry about it. Okay? So that's why we do what we do. Okay? Now, there's a lot of good people out there. Here's something else that I want you to think about. There's a lot of people out there right now, obviously not watching this stream because this is about prepping and living off grid and talking about what possibly could happen in S.H.T.F. There's people out there right now that are going through life with the rose-colored glasses on, thinking everything is beautiful, it'll all get back to normal, everything is going to be fine, I don't have to worry about anything because the government tells me everything's going to be great, okay? There are those people. So when that event happens, and now all of a sudden the world is upside down, they are not going to know how to deal with it at all. Not at all. And so you're talking about a lot of victims out there that have no clue what's coming for them. And that's why I'm a big believer in not being a victim, with being proactive and being ready to the best of my ability. And also, again, to try to help who I can help. Because it's not a lot of people, we're awake. We've had an epiphany for whatever event it was that was the trigger moment for us that went, whoa, I need to rely on myself. Okay, we've had that already. That's already happened for us. So now what have we done since then? We get ready, we get prepared. Hey, Prepper Chris 1, China GDP will be twice that of the U.S. Not good, stinking. Yeah, yeah, not a good situation there either. Like I said, the situation with China is very concerning, very, very concerning. You have to be mentally able to flip the switch in your head and get in the proper mindset. T-Bear just said that. You know what? And I couldn't agree with you more. Oh, sorry, my Cowboys just lost again. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was close. They were like right there. What are you gonna do? It's But I saw the Bills won today. They actually surprised me. They came back and they won that game, so they did good. So hey, what are you gonna? Like I said, Cowboys. Actually, the Cowboys should be 0-3. They shouldn't be 1-2. They should be 0-3. That whole division just absolutely sucks. Just to be honest with you, they're horrible for whatever. Oh my God, they're horrible. But what are you gonna do? That's how it goes. But yet somebody says to hell with the NFL. Yeah, I know. I just like I said, it's I like it. I like my Cowboys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't always like the way certain people act, but again, I want to be entertained. I don't care what they have to say. So, that's why I watch them. So, well, and I watch it on my laptop, so I'm not even seeing it live. I'll see the highlights afterwards, and but I like watch the updates. That's what I watch. So I'm not like watching the game live. Hey, do you recommend stocking up on Quicklime for waste order control and breakdown? Yes, you know what? That is awesome, Scarlet Rose. Great question. All right, lime. There's a powdered lime that you can get. You can get them at. Hold on a second. It's going to come to me in a moment. Like Agway. Agway is one of those places that you can get lime, and you get the powdered lime. If you have an outhouse in a post-event, use the toilet. You put in a little bit of lime, keeps the smell down. If you're, burying bodies, a little bit of lime too makes a really genius pranks. Oh, that's funny. Joe Biden, 2020. Well, good luck with your pick there. Thank you for the statement. Thank you for your donation as well. Like I said, it's whoever wins, we're screwed no matter what. This is what I think a lot of people don't understand. Whoever wins, the issues are not going to go away. There's still going to be other stuff going on, and that's just the reality of it. But that's funny. I like that. That's a good way to get your statement out there. That was pretty funny. So, and how is Becca doing? Is she still recovering? Okay, well, thank you for asking, JJ. Becca's kept a really low profile this weekend. She still does not feel well. Both of her kids are also sick. Again, she probably picked something up at the hospital, then gave it to the kids and stuff like that. I'm really lucky that I didn't get it. I'll be honest with you. She's still recovering. She's feeling better, but she's been sleeping a lot. And so that's where she's at. Oh, I wanted to really quickly, guys, I wanted to thank, I've received some donations through my PayPal account. And I wanted to thank the people that did it that way. I've also had people send me donations through my P.O. box. And I wanted to acknowledge them. So all of you that have done that, I appreciate that. And thank you very much. Again, any donation that's given, guys, goes right back into the Homestead to continue what we're doing here. And believe me, there's a lot of things going on and will continue to go on. So, November 4th will be day one of the New World, so get ready. Yeah, it'll be really, really interesting one way or another, to be honest with you, once we get to that point. It'll get really, really interesting. So what do we got 1,000 people in the chat, guys. We're at 462 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to do that, please, to show support for the channel. And thank you for doing that ahead of time. Again, it really does help with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction we have, the better it is for the channel. So thank you for doing it that way as well. And like I said, I do like to see a lot of thumbs up. So thank you for doing that as well. I want to talk about my website really quickly, and then we'll continue on with our discussion here. And Tuesday will be the debate, so that should be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. I think that would be really, really interesting. So anyway, my website, preppernurse1.com, we have the Prepper Nurse 1 community on the website. It's a great resource that we set up for you guys to connect with like-minded people, because I had so many people coming to me and saying, how do I find people where I live in my area and stuff like that? So we set that up on the website. So it's a resource for you guys to check out, people in your area, people in your country, in your state, whatever the case may be. Just a great place to go and talk with other people that are like-minded. There's great message boards with a lot of recipes, a lot of information. So it's a lot of sharing that goes on there. You do have to register for the Prepper Nurse One community, but it is totally free. No credit card information is asked. It's a resource we put together for you guys, okay? So just wanted to put that out there first of all. Secondly, we have jdega.com, which is in the description below. And also, if you go to my website, preppernurse1.com, you'll see it scrolling by. If you click on that, it will take you to their website. If you decide to make a purchase on a CBD or hemp product, make sure you use the discount code PrepperNurse1, and it's the number 1, not ONE, and you'll save yourself 15% on your purchase. Having CBD products in a post-event is a really smart thing to have, so it's a good thing to add to your preps. It's an opportunity for you to have something that has multiple uses, pain relief, joint relief, inflammation, all kinds of really good stuff with that. So definitely take advantage of that as well. Also on the website, we have the Legacy freeze-dried food, which is a long-term food storage. It is the largest portion size of any of the other freeze-dried food companies, so you get more bang for your buck. It's also, like I said, it's very, very good. I've done a lot of reviews on it. I have it in my preps as well. So if you're looking to add to your long-term food storage with 25-year shelf life, again, go to my website. You'll click on store. It'll drop down. It'll say Legacy Foods. What they have available is right there. So definitely take advantage of that as well. All right. So that's out of the way. I wanted to do that and get that done. So, and people say, why do you keep repeating that? Well, maybe somebody hasn't heard it before. There may be new people watching the channel, and so that's why I do that. Spike Siegel, Ed, have you gotten yourself in the situation where you bought too many canned goods and some of them have gone bad? There's been an issue with me and my preps. Okay, so gone bad as opposed to past the best by date. Okay, so let's talk about canned goods in your preps real quick. Okay. I have eaten recently. I just had a can of split peas split pea soup. Okay, ham and split pea soup that was 3.5 years past the best by date. Okay, it was absolutely fine. I had no issues with it, and I ate it. The best by date on those cans does not mean the food goes bad. What it means is it starts to lose its nutritional value. That's it. Now, tomato-based products in a can, they don't hold up well long-term, okay? And so what do I mean by that? Like your stewed tomatoes, your canned tomatoes in a can, okay? I have in years past have had to throw a lot of those out because they just don't last well. That's why we can them, do canning instead, okay? You have it in the can or your glass jar, it's going to hold up a lot better. But what happens is that acidity in the can eats at the can and it ruins it. So that's how type of stuff does happen. But a lot of the food, even with your canned goods, you can have them for years and years and years past your best by date and they're still perfectly fine. So I hope that answers that question. And so definitely, think about that. Best by date is not, oh, nope, it's bad, I got to get rid of it and throw it away. That is not it at all, okay? And like I said, and here's the other thing I want you to think of. Anything acidic does not hold up well. Yeah, exactly, and I just said that. Yep. How long does spam last? You know what? I don't have a lot of spam because I'm not a big spam eater, so I have some, but, prep what you eat and eat what you prep. Yep. Eat one, buy two. Yep. And rotate. There's the biggest key right there. What he just said, buy what you eat. What you eat on a regular basis, that's what you need to purchase when it comes to your canned goods, okay? Make sure you're rotating stuff. That's important as well. 1,000 years for spam and Twinkies. That's funny. But how would you rate freeze-dried food from Augustin Farms? Actually, okay. Augustin Farms, good product. Real good product. Legacy freeze-dried food, I think they're an excellent product as well. Mountain House, also another excellent product, okay? I've had all of them. I have all three of them in my preps. Now, I know there's My Patriot Supply. I have not tried them, okay? So I can't give you a an evaluation on that product. So I can't say they're this, that, or the other thing. Okay. What I can say that I know for a fact that Legacy's freeze-dried food is the largest portion size of any of them. Okay. So you're going to get more in your size of what you're getting, when you get that. And I couldn't say that if it wasn't true. So just putting that out there as well. But let's see. Sorry, guys, I'm working on 5 hours sleep in 2 days. Darn full moon. I say 5 eggs like my son got today. Have a good night. I will. Well, you know what? Yeah, oh my God, it's already 40 minutes into the chat. Okay, well, let's do the egg count. We'll do that really quickly. And I will let you know what our egg count was, because she's only going on it. She's probably pretty tired. So we'll do the egg count really quickly, guys. And I see many right answers already. And if you had the same guess as Sue Davidson and Prepper Chris won also with 7 eggs, then you are correct. We ended up with 7 eggs today. The chickens are definitely molting, so I'm definitely expecting things to, especially next week, I expect things to drop off as the weather changes. But we did end up with 7 eggs today. And so, that's... Do you have a saving link for Legacy Foods? If you are looking to make a purchase with the Legacy, contact me and I'll see what I can do to help you. I just did a sale last month, and so but depending on what you want to do, shoot me an email at preppernurse1.com, and I'm sorry, preppernurse1@yahoo.com. Sorry about that, but do that, and then we can go from there, and I'll see what I can do for you. Let's see. Oh, hold on a second. Yeah, it was a cat quake because we have our little bitty petite. I like that skin, Soxy. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Well, yes, I know, but we got to get you so you're comfortable, and I'm comfortable. There we go. All right. So, yeah, she's a little petite thing, so when she walks around on the bed, it causes a cat quake. Walmart stores are telling shoppers over the loudspeakers to stock up. Are they really? Wow. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I think that here you go, sweetie. All right, good girl. I think it's really, really important now to be as ready as we possibly can be. Again, we don't know what's going to happen as the future comes forward here. This election, I think it's going to be a very tumultuous time. No matter who wins. I think there's going to be upset. There's going to be people that are going to be pissed. People are so locked into their opposing views that I don't think that they want to give up. And if rioting goes nationwide and spills into your area, your homestead starts to be overrun, where you're outnumbered, do you stand your ground or bug out? Okay, so you know what? That's a great question, and it would depend on the size of the crowd, to be honest with you. Realistically, and I'll be 100% realistically, I had 150 people coming down the street. I'm opening up on them. That's the reality. And I will guarantee you that if you do that, no matter where you are, what part of the country you are, if you stand your ground and you open up, and maybe you have a couple other people, with you, and are able to do that as well from secure locations, they're going to scatter like the wind. And they're going to go find someplace else with easier pickings, okay? That's the reality of that. Now, if it is 10,000 people, there's no way you're winning with those odds. And hopefully you're going to get some early information that many people are coming, and you can do something about it. You would have to bug out in that situation, because I don't care how tough you think you are. If there's 10,000 people coming and are going to overrun you, you're getting overrun, okay? That's the reality of that. So, again, depends on the size of the crowd, depend on who's coming and what their intentions are. You have to think about those things. But again, if you're picking your location strategically, most people are going to travel the path of least resistance, which is not uphill. They're not going to go uphill if they don't have to, okay? So those are things to think about as well. They're going to go for staying down in the valleys. going from town to town and trying to do that type of stuff. They're really not going to be going up to the higher elevations, and that's why I picked my location like I did. Hamburger at my Aldi's is $1.59 a pound. Wow. It's not that here. I don't know what it is at Aldi's. I haven't been down to the Aldi's, but who do you think these first-time gun buyers are? You know what, Jackie Price, that's a great, great question. I'm actually glad you asked that. I think a lot of the people that are first-time gun buyers are people that have absolutely no clue how to handle guns, don't know what to do with guns, have never dealt with them before, and they're scared because they see what's going on, you know, with the rioting and all that type of stuff. And so, or they feel like, you know, they need to defend what they have, so they go out and they buy something and they think, okay, I'm good. Well, that's not the end of it. You need to know what you're doing with weapons. Somebody needs to train you on what to do with those weapons. So again, you know, those are things that it just, you don't get it, now you know how to use it. That's not how it works. A lot of accidental shootings will be happening, you know, just because people just, they don't think. An experienced person can have an accidental discharge and do everything right and still have something happen. I've told this story, and I'm going to tell it again, and this happened to me when I was 16 years old. Now, I learned about guns very, very early on. I had a .22 at like 8 years old, okay? So I knew how to handle guns very, very early on. My stepfather went through all the details with me. Never point a gun at anybody. Even if you know it's unloaded, you never pull the trigger, because, you know, there could be that round that is jammed up in there that you didn't know about. You know, went through all that stuff with me, all that stuff. And I always knew that you either point the gun at the sky or you point it at the ground. You're not holding it sideways going like this, okay? So here's what happened. 16 years old, we skipped school. It was a bunch of us, maybe 4 or 5 of us, you know, drinking, having a good time, having fun. We go back to my one buddy's house, and he's got the gun rack in the bedroom, and he's got a couple of .22s. I take the .22 down. This is a true story, guys. This is no joke. I take the .22 down, pointed at the ceiling, dry fired it, and what I mean by that is I cocked it, pulled the trigger, click. Cocked it, pulled the trigger, click. Did it like 12, 15 times. Now, I know that gun is empty. 100% I know that gun is empty, right? I go in the other room, and my one buddy's sitting there on the bed, and I took that .22 rifle, and I put it in his belly, the barrel in his belly, okay? I know it's empty. This gun is empty. There's absolutely nothing. I've dry fired it like 12 to 15 times. It's empty. Something in my head from the training that I had when I was younger said, don't pull that trigger. And I pulled it back, I pointed at the ceiling, and I pulled the trigger, and I shot a hole right through their ceiling. Right through their ceiling with that .22. I knew that gun was empty. But for whatever reason, that shell got in there that last time. And if I had pulled that trigger when it was in my buddy's belly, I could have killed him. And it was something that I never forgot, always stuck with me. And it's like, it's a story that I tell people because I want people to realize no matter what, you have to always be safe. And even, you know, teenage kids do stupid stuff. They do it all the time, you know. Why was I putting the gun in my belly, in my buddy's belly? We were just screwing around. It was just screwing around. It was like I went in and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you. Just goofing, you know, because he knew I would never shoot him. You know, it was absolute stupid, just absolutely stupidity is what it was, realistically. But I dry fired it that many times, so I knew that it was unloaded. And somehow still, bam, there was that shell in there. And even though stupidly I put that barrel into his belly, so that training in my head, don't pull the trigger even though you know it's unloaded, and that saved me. Because I'll tell you what, I'd have got in big trouble. He could have been dead. It was just, being kids, doing stupid stuff, being kids. All of us were just like, oh my God, really? I mean, it was like, and I'm going to tell you right now, never, ever, ever again did I ever screw around, even playing, never again. And I can almost guarantee you the other guys that were there that day, probably the same exact thing. It was a life lesson. We got really fortunate. It could have gone a lot worse. So, yeah. And it's really important. That safety is huge. We would not be here with you today, Ed. Yeah, you know what? I could have been a convicted felon, the whole 9 yards. I mean, even though it was an accident, they don't care. You know, you did something stupid, you know. But again, very fortunate. It could have gone a lot worse, and I always thought about that, and I never forgot it. And it's one of the stories I always tell people because it's a real thing. Could have happened, could have gone a whole different situation, and then what happens, you know? So, yeah, not good at all. What happens if I had shot him with that 22 and it bounced around in there and then paralyzed him? Then my buddy's paralyzed because of some stupidity that I did. You know, you just can't. But there's, unfortunately, getting back to what we're talking about, a lot of people have no idea what they're doing, and they're buying weapons and they're buying ammo, and that's kind of scary. It's really scary. You would have been in prison. No one would have believed you. Well, the other people that were there, his brother was in the room with me when I dry fired it. So, yeah, it's just one of those things that happen. Ed's news channel prepping from prison. Yeah, right. No thanks. Not the place I want to be. What will you do if Becca is away from you and S.H.T.F happens? Becca needs to get here then. Just like, and I've talked to you guys about this as well, with my daughter being in college and my son being in the city with his mother. You know, they need to get here. I cannot go out. I will not be going out. You know, so what happens? I leave and I got to go try to save everybody. Somebody comes here, ransacks everything, and takes everything that I have. You can't. They know what they need to do. They have a plan. And it would be the same thing with Becca. It would absolutely be the same thing with Becca. How close are you to a nuke plant? Not close at all, Prepper Chris Wonders. There's a nuclear power plant down on Lake Ontario, but that is a ways away from me. So that is not an issue at all. I think new gun owners need to take training courses. It really, yeah, you know, you open up a whole can of worms with that. I think they should be able to do it voluntarily, not be forced to. But I think it's important that they understand the dangers of, you know, a rifle or a pistol is a tool. A tool in the wrong hands can be very dangerous, okay? People that don't know how to handle a tool, like, okay, let's go with a jackhammer. If you don't know how to properly handle a jackhammer, that could be dangerous to you, you know? You could get hurt. So, you know, a rifle or a pistol is strictly a tool. If you can get the proper training and have somebody walk you through things and tell you what you need to know and, you know, and do that, I think that's a good thing, but it should be a voluntary thing too. A butter knife is dangerous to me. That's funny. Yeah, same with a chainsaw. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. True story again. I'll give you another story here real quick. Okay. When I first got going with chainsaws, I didn't know a whole bunch about chainsaws. They sell them to you anyway. You don't have to have no permit to get a chainsaw. I had my other property, and I was up there by myself, and I was cutting wood. And, you know, I had a kickback, and the kickback came back, and it cut through my jeans that I had on. That's why I wear nothing but chaps now when I cut wood, okay? Cut right through my pants. I looked down, and I could see my leg, and I got very, very fortunate that it did not cut me. I don't know how it didn't, to be honest with you, but I did not get cut. After that, I went out and got chaps. That split-second decision, that split-second kickback could have opened up my leg. I'm a mile and a half from the main road. I could have bled out. I could have been dead. There was nobody there with me. What do? You know what I mean? So, again, knowing what you're doing, having somebody teach you how to do that. If you don't know how to handle that chainsaw, you shouldn't be using it, okay? I'm a big believer ever since that happened of safety, especially with that, you know, with the chainsaw. I always wear chaps. I always wear steel-toed boots when I'm working with a chainsaw. I'm not going to be out there in a pair of Crocs in shorts, okay? You know, there's guys that are out there. Greg doesn't wear chaps. He knows what he's doing with a chainsaw, But again, for me, I just I would rather wear the chaps. I don't care if I look stupid or not. It could save my life, and that's what I care about. They have a new measure they are trying to pass to make it gun owners be a federal license. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they're trying to do. Tiny Titan 50, there's a lot of stuff they're trying to push through. Again, I think that they lose the point of shall not be infringed. They don't understand that. So, yeah, it's all about control. It really is. And here's something I want people to remember too. Registration leads to confiscation. Okay? If you have to register everything that you have, the next thing you know, they're going to come for it at some point. Big believer in that too. Big believer in that. Guys, I still see we're at 1,000 people in the chat. We're at 638 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, please make sure you do to show support for the channel. And I want to thank you for doing that ahead of time if you haven't done so already. Also, it really does help with the algorithms. So that thumbs up gives us that interaction, puts us a little higher in the rankings, which is also a good thing. So thank you for that as well. And the third thing, like I said, I do like to, boat accident gone. They're going to want to see them. They're going to want to see them. So, but I like a lot of thumbs up as well. So they understand, they just don't want to. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They have their own agenda. They have their own agenda. Are you ready for winter? My place, I've been ready. I prepare what I need to do pretty early in the seasons every year, just because I know what's going to happen. We still have a few things to do for my mom and sister's place. That's going to start happening this week, coming up here. As the weather gets colder a little bit, I got to get up underneath their building and insulate underneath, which I'm really, really looking forward to. No, I'm not. Skirting's got to be done. Ed, you going to watch the presidential debate on Tuesday? Yes, JJ, I do plan on that. It'll probably be streaming live on my laptop, and I definitely want to watch that. So now spray insulation, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to do the rock wool insulation. So, so that's, but I got to get under there and do that. We got to get the skirting around there. Anything else inside the house can be done at a later date inside their place. The outside needs to be squared away. As far as, like I said, the skirting has to be done. The insulation underneath has to be done. We have all winter to work on the inside. There's some stuff in the lofts we got to take care of, but we can work on that. So what time is the debate? I don't get off until 5 Central Time. I don't even know, to be honest with you. I'm going to have to look that up. But insulate ASAP. No, I will. No, I'm going to be, like I said, we're not going to have real super cold weather for a while yet. 40s is not cold to me. So, that's not cold weather in my, for me. So I just want to be able to have a couple of jackets on so that when I'm crawling around underneath on the rocks, that I have some kind of layer of protection, as opposed to having it be 90 degrees and trying to do it with a muscle shirt on. So 8 or 9 Eastern time. Yeah, I think it would be later like that. The debate is from 9 to 10:30. Okay, and that's probably Eastern time. Yeah, so 0 is cold. Yeah, we get down to 0. Depends on, especially if the wind is going, It's not going to be fiberglass. I'm not using fiberglass. That fiberglass insulation is bad. Yeah, so it's the, that I use the rock wool, because the critters don't like to nest in it. So if you're putting that up under your building, I was under my building when we ran our new power line. Underneath my building looks exactly like it looked 6 years ago when we did it. So it doesn't look any different. No critters under there, no nothing. Because it's like they don't like that rock wool insulation. So that's why I'm going to go with that. Jeff said, Ed, have you tried the powdered milk you sell on your site? I have not. I have not had that, so I can't give you an opinion on that one way or the other. So, sorry, that's one that I did not review. Did you know you can save pepper plants from year to year? Yes, I'm thinking of transplanting a few of the pepper plants. The jalapeno peppers, that's what those other ones are. And then I'll probably try to save a couple of those. I can transplant them into buckets, and then I want to save the some of the regular pepper plants as well. So I'll probably do that. Yep. So you insulate the floor with rock wool? Yes, I do. Yep. My entire house that I'm in here, I use nothing but rock wool insulation. The chicken coop is insulated with rock wool insulation. The battery room is insulated with rock wool insulation. It's exactly what I used. It's the best stuff out there. It is, like I said, the critters don't like to nest in it, and they won't nest in it. So you don't have to worry about, mice or anything else getting up into your stuff that way. It's great. It's really a solid insulation. So when you use like the pink fiberglass in the walls, a lot of times what it'll do is it'll fall down over time, and then it's all in the bottom, and then the rest of your wall has nothing in it. This insulation, if you put it in there, it's where it stays. So that I like that. So yes, and there's another one, North Shore Preparedness. Rock wool will not burn. That insulation will not burn. So that's a good thing to have as well. Yeah, my peppers are doing great too. Somebody said my peppers are still going strong. Yeah, my peppers are looking great too. So I think, like I said, I'm going to transplant both kinds, not all of them, but some of them into the greenhouse. And I should probably do that tomorrow, because really tomorrow is kind of like the last really decent day we're going to have. So how do you keep snakes out from under the house? We don't really have a lot of bad snakes up here. We get some, rat snakes and stuff like that. We don't get those really bad snakes that the people in the South do. So it's just not, it's rock wool. It's not rock wool or rock well. It's rock wool. So that's what I used. It used to be called something else. And what is the coldest it has gotten in my homestead to date? The coldest weather we had was a couple of years ago. We had about a week stretch of weather where it averaged for it was between 12 and 15 below zero. That was the average temperature in that stretch. It was really, really cold. Like your daytime temperature maybe got up to 0 or -2, and then it got down overnight. It was just crazy weather. And we had absolutely no issues. We were warm. We had no problems at all. Dark cool and dark copperheads and rattlesnakes like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, we don't have those up here. So they don't like the colder temperatures. So we haven't had any issues with any kind of other snakes up here at all. So that's a good thing. That's a real good thing. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, guys. Okie Forge has got it right. I'm gonna use the Tyvek. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the rock wool up, and then I'm gonna hold it all into place with the Tyvek underneath the house, so that way it's supported that way, and so that's not going to be an issue. Yep. So use sulfur powder under your house. Snakes don't like that. Oh, there you go. Firefighter Prepper just said that. Well, thank you for that information. And anybody that needs to use that, that's a good advice. But Buddy and Thickneck take care of them. That's why you never seen it. Well, I know that definitely the cats get on. If there's anything, they kill anything. So we don't have a lot of issues with that type of stuff. Peppers can be ripened in cardboard boxes indoors. I use that for tomatoes as well. Yep, that absolutely works as well. Yep. Mayberry Homestead just said that. Thank you for that statement. What is your opinion on bubble wrap as insulation in the greenhouse? If you're using a proper insulation, like I said, if you go with the rock wool insulation, you can't go wrong. You just can't. Bubble wrap is not going to be as effective. is the rock wool insulation. You know, so like I said, if you can get the rock wool, your chickens are going to thank you. They're going to be warmer, you know, and those type of things. So a box of Rotobegon can be found at the Ace Hardware. Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff. You know, there's a lot of different options that you have. I don't use any poisons up here because obviously if there's, you know, the mice and then the cats eat the mice, then the cats would be dead. So I don't do that. So, but anyway, so again, I really think right now we're having a little bit of a lull before everything gets crazy by the end of October and into November. Take advantage, get what you can now, prep as much as you possibly can, get all your ducks lined up, you know, your medical supplies, candles, flashlights, batteries. I personally, what I like as far as batteries, I like rechargeable batteries. Really like rechargeables because, you know, I do have a power source, obviously, with my own solar system. So I obviously utilize that. And if I can recharge those batteries, that for me, that's the best option. So that's what I like to do. But or the solar lights. Solar lights are awesome as well. They're a fantastic option that you can utilize, and they work really, really well. Yeah, candles are important. Definitely, all kinds of candles. So, you know, that's another thing, you know, you should think about. You know, and again, you have to think about multiple light sources. If there is an EMP, I mean, that has to be taken into consideration because that is something that could absolutely happen. If, you know, flashlights may not work, so, you know, what are your other options? Kerosene lanterns, they'll still work, obviously. You know, candles are still going to work, obviously. So the more of those that you can have, the better off you're going to be. It's just a smart thing. Fire extinguishers too. Yes, Beth O'Neill just said that. Yep, fire extinguishers is a really good thing to have. You definitely should have fire extinguishers. Again, you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So to be able to have different options to use for whatever, realistically, the best thing that you can do is make a list. Do your inventory, see what you have, see where you're at, and say, okay, what do I need to improve? Because just going, yeah, I could use some more of this or I could use some more of that, that's not going to do it, okay? If you have it in front of you in black and white, and so like an example would be, I'll give you a great example, duct tape. I like Gorilla tape, the Gorilla duct tape. It's my favorite. I'm looking right now, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 rolls over here sitting on top of you know, a dresser over here, just ready to go for whatever I need. I got one that I'm using sitting on top of the refrigerator that is the one that's currently in use. Again, look at what you have, figure out where you're weak, and then make it better. And that's the best thing that we can do. The more prepared we are for whatever the scenario is, the better off you're going to be in the long run. You know, make sure you have plenty of ammunition. I'm going to tell you, so here's the spot where I was weak, and I've corrected that since then. Just so you know, I was really short on shotgun ammunition, and I was like, man, I don't like where I'm at with what I have for shotgun ammunition. So I went and I rectified that. So, you know, having that inventory where you could look at electrical tape. Yes, another one is electrical tape is a good thing to have. Eastern Diamondback in Leroy in 1963. Really? Rose Kennedy said she killed one. Wow. Yeah, you know what? I haven't in my lifetime seen anything up here like that. So, you know, that's just me personally. But anyway, again, it's like make your list, see where you're at, see where you're strong, see where you're weak, and then correct it. Keep getting ready. This is not a time to be lax, to sit back and go, yeah, we're going to be fine. We're ready to go. There's always some way that you can improve what you have. You know, be it medically, guns and ammo, you know, antibiotics, other medicines that you can get over-the-counter meds, you know, food, water, pure ways to purify water. Have many, many choices and different ways to purify water. It's really important, really important. Lentils are great for protein, one of the best foods for vitamins. Yes, lentils are awesome. You know, here's something to think about. And this is what somebody had told me. And I thought this was really interesting. It was really telling. They said when they were growing up, you know, there was the wood stove heat. That's how they had it. There was always a pot on the wood stove with a stew going. And their grandmother would go by during the day. She would add potatoes, onions, carrots, whatever she was cutting up for that stew. And it would simmer on that stove all day long. And then that would be like their main meal of the day was that stew. And I just thought that that's a really cool thing. And in a post-event, I could see that happening again, where people would just be, you know, putting your lentils or your pinto beans or whatever you're putting in there, adding your other stuff, your spices and whatever else into that, and have that stew going all the time. And you know, when you're out there and you're working and you know you're doing, the other thing that people need to think about too is the physical activity that's going to be happening in a post-event. Eventually, the gasoline is going to run out, so you are going to get around either on foot, by a bicycle, those type of things, horseback, whatever the case may be. Not everybody's going to have a horse, so and walking really is going to take forever. So if you can have, you know, a couple of backup bicycles, extra tires, extra, you know, and stuff like that, you know, and physical activity requires calories, absolutely. So you're going to be burning up a lot more calories than you're used to burning up. So, you know, you're going to be a lot more active. So really, really smart. Even the Berkey Light will do a family. Oh, absolutely. You just continue to add water into it. And as it filters through, you take the fresher water out and you put it into containers. Use that during the course of the day and just keep those things going. Keep that water flowing through those. Having those water filters is going to be a hugely, hugely important thing. Guys, I see we're still at 1,000 in the chat. We're at 747 on the thumbs up. I'm going to ask one more time here to shoot a thumbs up, please, to show support for the channel. And thank you for doing that ahead of time. I do appreciate that. And it really does help with the algorithms as well. So the more interaction we have, the better it is for the channel. So I appreciate you guys doing it for that reason as well. And again, I do like to see a nice number of thumbs up as well. So thank you for doing that as well. And again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask that you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And thank you ahead of time. Don't use mothballs. I had 4 cats die from drinking water with mothballs in it. Oh, really? That's not good. Yeah, I wouldn't put mothballs in water. Now, you got so many other good options that you can use for water purification. It's crazy how much good options that you have. I mean, you get the mini Sawyer. It's 100,000 gallons. That's a lot of water that you can run through that filter. Highly recommended. I think it's a great product to have. So really important to have. Now, can get paper maps at truck stops. They're the type, the convenience gas station. Yeah, paper maps are good. And if you can laminate them, even better. So you don't have the wear and tear on them. That's a really good thing as well. So what we're going to do now, guys, we are Legion. We are Legion because we are many. We're a huge family, a huge network of preppers and off-gridders all over the world, all over the country. Where's everybody from tonight? We have Buffalo, New York, Melbourne, Australia. You guys jumped the gun too. Canada, Georgia, Tennessee, the UK, Montreal, Canada, BC, Canada, Oregon, Central Texas, Long Island, Philadelphia, Iowa, Michigan, Montana, Toronto, Canada, London. We have Colorado Springs, Las Vegas, Nevada, Georgia, Montana again, Indiana, Midland, Texas, Central Ohio, Chattawa, North Canada, let's see, Missouri, Gasport, New York, Dublin, Ohio. We have Louisiana, North Carolina, Ontario, Canada again, Troy, Vermont, Middleton, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Southern Maryland, Wisconsin, Gatlin, Pennsylvania, Western New York. We have California, Union City, Pennsylvania, Southwest Ontario, Canada, very nice, Connecticut, Indiana, Virginia, Paris, Texas, California, Nebraska, Georgia, Connecticut, Oklahoma, California again, Central New York, Cincinnati, Northeast Florida, Republic of Georgia, I like that, Knoxville, Tennessee, Idaho, Maine, Delaware, all over, guys, crazy. Alabama, Kentucky, Kansas City, Cape Cod, Delaware. So again, all over the world, all over the country, we're a huge family, a huge network of people. I want to definitely give a shout out really quickly, guys, to Marfugal News out on the West Coast. Definitely go over, show him support. I just saw Kent from the UK over there, Spokane, Washington. Great channel. Him and Dax doing good stuff over in Seattle. So go show them some support at Marfugal News. Really, really good channel. Love those guys. They're awesome people. Show them some support. Tell them that Prepper Nurse 1 sent you over. Let's see. We have Nebraska, somewhere Oklahoma. What else do we got here? But anyway, like I said, we're a huge family. And we're the ones, guys, when the time comes, realistically, that can make a difference. We really are. Nobody can stop us. I'll just see Hawaii in here. Arnold, Missouri. Nowhere, Oklahoma. There, we got nowhere and somewhere. I love that. That's awesome. Minnesota. So, but again, we're this huge family, and we're the ones that really can make a difference now and in a post-event. Being as ready as we possibly can be, I think, is so important. There's a lot of good people out here, a lot of people that have absolutely no clue, and we're the ones that can make a difference when that time comes. And I think we should try. Again, can we save everybody? No, we can't. But we can really make a difference, I think. We can help some good people, and that's what we should try to do, okay? So I want to thank my moderators who just do an absolutely fantastic job. They come on here show after show, keeping the chat clean. So I do appreciate you guys, ladies and gentlemen, obviously. You just fantastic, and thank you for all that you do. Because to me, it's important that we keep it clean. It doesn't need to be nasty and people coming and acting like idiots. So you guys do a fantastic job, and thank you again. Anyway, guys, I am going to jump off of here for now. This is 2 shows in a row where we got through the whole thing with no interruption, which is awesome, and I was happy to see it. Remember, we are all in this together. We're one great, big, huge family called the human race, and that's all we need to be. Anything else beyond that is racist, in my opinion. We're the human race. That's the race we are. If we can get past all the stupid stuff that they perpetuate out there, that the media pushes nonstop, if we can work together and focus on what the real problems are, it'd be amazing what we could accomplish. Amazing, okay? Also remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. So it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every single day how we feel, because there is no guarantees. We never know when our time is up, our time is up. Also remember, STD, step, thing, and day. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you are trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish in life, doesn't have to be prepping related, doesn't have to be off-grid related. It is whatever you're striving for, your hopes, your dreams, you can do it. The only person that is going to stop you from reaching those dreams is you. That's it, okay? Stay positive, stay away from negativity. Negative people want to bring you down. They're unhappy, they're miserable. They don't like to see people happy. So be happy in spite of them, okay? I will see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.